Okay guys, hi, welcome to your first lesson. I'm so excited to have you online for the first time. It's going to be different, but it's going to be somewhat the same because you've been with me for so long. Most of you anyway, know a lot of the warm-ups we do together. So this is basically going to be a lot of the same, but in the way that obviously you can do it at your own pace and you can use it multiple times throughout the week if you're feeling up for it. And yeah, basically I'm gonna give you a bunch of different classes that you can do. They all serve a slightly different purpose, but they're all gonna be a great way for you to keep fit and sort of just, don't fall behind while I'm away. And yeah, if you're doing any training afterwards, it's really gonna prime your body to be open and receiving of whatever you're about to do on the pole. So without further ado, let's start. So this session, I think I just want to sort of give you something nice to work with for the first class. Nothing too crazy, nothing super challenging. So it's going to be a sort of a whole body warm up / a little bit of mobility work. But yeah, so I want us to start at the end of the mat, feet kind of hip width, and we're going to plant those feet nice and strong into the ground. Then as you're taking an inhale, you're going to drive those arms up, slide out here if you want. You can meet out your palms, bring them to your forehead, and then gliding them down across by your sides, and then diving down with your chest proud, sliding on the back of your legs over your feet and your toes, and then walking yourself forward into a plank. When you arrive in your plank, you're then gonna shoot and point your elbows behind you to lower down. If you need to take a moment here, you can tuck your toes before you lift up into a cobra. Then take a deep breath in, tuck your toes, and come up into a down dog to finish. So this is a little flow that we're gonna open up with. Walk your hands back to your feet, finding yourself in a forward fold, and then rippling back up. So we're gonna do this again. Whenever you're ready, take a deep breath in. Inhale, reach. Gentle back bend, arms come up. Then by your sides, driving them down on the back of your legs as you're diving down with your chest, walking your hands forward into a plank. Nice strong plank here, not sinking, staying strong as you lower down. Exhale, push into a cobra. Right, we're gonna take this one more time. So walk your hands, end up in a downward dog. Then walk your hands towards your feet again. Maybe take a moment here, dangle for a second, and then coming back up. Beautiful. One more time. Inhale, reach. Exhale, dive. Sliding those hands down and over and forward into a plank. Lower down. Exhale, cobra. Beautiful. Push up into your downward dog. Walk your feet a little closer if you need. And just finding a nice, strong, and comfortable position here in that downward dog. Walking those feet up, stretching the back of the legs. Continue breathing. Beautiful. Alrighty, while we're here, we are going to take the weight back into a plank here, and then shoot your hips back up. Reach for your opposite, so you don't have to touch your ankle if you don't want to, or if you're still working on that. So just reaching across for a twist. And then when you continue back into your plank, trying to not put this hand down just yet, but trying to find a slight hover before your weight goes forward. And then doing that on the other side. Reach and twist. And then see how long can you hold your weight on that one arm before you put it down. And then again, finding your strong plank, not sinking here, not sort of hovering in a half down dog. So here, nice plank. Inhale, reach. Exhale, hover for a second, then put it down. One more time. Inhale, reach. Exhale, hover. Then put it down. Beautiful. Let's put those knees down and sit back. Find a nice continuous breath here. Breathing deeper into the back body. Exhale this way. Beautiful. Let's slide up. Finding yourself here, sitting on your heels, and we're gonna roll the head. Do a little bit more movement at the top of the body. And swap direction. Beautiful. Open your knees out a little bit more, and then just seeing if you can find a little bit of movement in your hips, in your pelvis. So whatever feels good for you. You don't have to go crazy with this. And then maybe letting that ripple sort of follow into your chest. So not only I'm moving my hips here, I'm also starting to invite the chest to move with me. And then reverse it, starting with the hips again. Here. And hips and chest. Beautiful. So from the back of the mat, I'm gonna roll over. So you're probably gonna be mirroring everything I do. I'm gonna pop onto my right knee, so you might pop onto your left. And we're in this extended position. Our arm is gonna come overhead. If it feels good, you can sort of reach a little further for a micro bend. And then, so here we're going to take a deep breath in. Exhale, slide this knee under a little, close in this angle. So you're going to feel really open and expanded here. And then we're going to challenge ourselves to contract and still find some expansion in this closed off angle. So I'm still staying nice and active here, trying not to collapse and sort of sink and sag. So when I come over here, reaching the arm away from the hip bone, staying active. And breathe. Inhale, open. Exhale, close. Stay active. If you want it even more active, you can challenge yourself to stay up here. And inhale, open. Exhale, close. Beautiful. Back to the middle. Other side. Inhale, open. Exhale, close. Swap the hand. Really feel the stretch into the side. Inhale, open. Exhale, close. One more time. Inhale, open. Nice and strong from the bottom hand as well. Trying to elevate from the shoulder. Exhale, close. Beautiful. And back on your knees. Lovely. I'm going to open the hips out here a little bit. So we've done a little bit of work just on the back of the mat here. So I'll let your knees to come nice and wide. Almost thinking like a frog pose. And then you can sit down and then see if you can find a little bit of movement again in your hips. So if I went from the side, just sort of working into tucking your hips and then seeing if you would find a little bit more openness and arch in your back. And then again, close. It could just be a minimal movement, whatever works for you, wherever you're at. Just finding this back and forth. Yeah, maybe you could go nice and open, in with your chest. Beautiful. So from here. Okay. And then I'm going to pop onto my one knee again. So this half split to the side. I'm going to work on hinging. So again, if I went from the side a little bit, if you can see. So thinking about shooting my booty behind me. And this depends on what, how deep into the stretch you feel the sensation of the stretch. So you could be up here, and you know, when you hinge, like you're really gonna feel that inner thigh stretch. But if it's already feeling like a bit much, then just stay there. But if you are a little bit more advanced in your flexibility, you can slide this leg further down, so you're opening that angle again. And when you're hinging, you're gonna feel that inner thigh stretch, and then squeeze like you're trying to close your inner thighs together. Yeah, like if there's two magnets between them, you're trying to close them to come up. Yeah, so find wherever feels accessible for you. You still want to have that a little bit of challenge in there, but you don't want to struggle through the whole thing. If your knee's sensitive like mine, maybe you want to roll up your mat or put a little pillow under. But yeah, so find the depth of the leg that works for you. We're gonna go for 10. So hinging, back stays straight. Exhale, squeeze your inner thighs together. Inhale down. Exhale, squeeze and lift. 3 and 4 and 5. Back stay straight. Follow your breath. 6, 7, 8, 9, one more. Beautiful. Now we can sit down. You can come onto your forearms, or if that's still feeling a little bit challenging, you can stay up here and then slide the foot a little bit lower if that feels good. Otherwise, you can come down a little bit lower, and then just holding here passively, using your breath to find a little bit of release. Rocking back and forth, that feels good. Always good to find a little bit of movement in that passive stretch as well. Sort of just exploring like the pose instead of just holding it in one position. Cool, that feels good. I'm gonna close this off and then swap to the other side. And here, again, finding your own challenge here. So you can also experiment with your hands. So if you don't like them on your hips, you can sort of have them out to the side when you come down, and then exhale, draw the energy back up. The higher above head, or the higher the hands go, it will make the exercise more tricky. So if you want that extra challenge, feel free to play around with having your hands above head. But yeah, that's definitely on the more challenging side. So feel free to stick with the hands on the hips, and we're hinging. Inhale down, back stay straight. Exhale, squeeze your inner thighs together. Inhale down. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Squeezing the thighs together when you come up. Last one. Beautiful. Again, sinking into the pose a little bit, finding a little bit of openness. Slow down your breathing again. Beautiful. Let's close this off. Let's take take a little windshield wiper. It can be a bit much for the hips sometimes, so working that internal rotation here as well, just to give it a little bit of break. So already priming your hips for if you're continuing to train on the pole, or just in general keeping your hips mobile and strong. Beautiful. You can just extend the legs here, maybe roll your ankles. So we're not going to focus on one particular part of the body here today, just because I wanted it to be more of a full body session. So we're going to move onto the back. Come on down. You can keep your hands by your sides, slide your feet down for now. And then see if you could sort of connect to your breath in a way that if your left hand is on your heart and right hand is on your tummy, if you could feel your breath coming into your chest and your lower belly as well. So a lot of times we're stuck in this upper breathing pattern that can cause us just feeling a little bit restricted. So we do want to be able to breathe into our belly, into our chest, but also into the sides and the back, because it is the whole diaphragm that works for us to just be able to breathe properly. So if we decondition our diaphragm to move all the 360 motion, in the 360 motion, it can feel quite claustrophobic for the body. So what we'll start with, left hand on the heart, right hand on the tummy. I just want you to take a nice deep breath. Try to fill your hands with that breath. So as you inhale, let your belly and your chest fill up those hands before you exhale, and let it drop back down. Deep breath in again. Exhale. Now bend your knees. Now I want you to scoop the pelvis and tuck just even so slightly. So now if you have a little arch by default in your low back, if you're tucking, you should be able to sort of flatten it out on the floor. So as we're breathing, I now want you to take that sensation of filling your hands and think about like there's a hand flat on your low back, so you're trying to fill it up as well. So how will that translate is that you feel the breath pushing into the floor. So I'm filling my front of the body and the front of the body and the back of the body as well. So taking a deep breath in. Exhale, lower. Inhale, fill up the hands. Exhale. One more time. So hopefully you're feeling the back reacting to that breath as well, now that you've sort of connected the mind to the muscle that you can and you should be actually breathing into your back as well. The more comfortable you get with this sort of breathing, the full diaphragmatic 360 breathing, you'll be then able to feel it not only front and back. You'll be, if I cue you to breathe to your sides, you'll be able to do that as well. And you probably felt that as you were trying to breathe into your lower back, you probably felt it in the back of your upper back as well. So this is a really good thing, being aware of your breath and being able to breathe into your full diaphragm. Something really, really healthy what we're doing here. So from here, we're gonna take it into glute bridges. So stretching the front of the body. I'm just gonna get your heels to come close enough that you can just graze your fingertips on them. And then from here, already found the slight tuck in the pelvis, so we're gonna continue tucking, so keep to lift your hips up into this glute bridge. Pressing your hips up, squeezing your glutes at the top, and then as you hold in the tuck, your sacrum and your hips are going to be the last one to come down. So I'm tucking on the way up, push, hold that for a second, and then while I hold the tuck, I'm rolling down in reverse motion and release the tuck as last. We're going to do that again. This time hands are going to come overhead. Exhale, lower. Inhale, reach. Exhale, lower. Beautiful. This time we're gonna bring one arm overhead and then making this window rolling on the opposite shoulder. So really still thinking about engaging the hips, and the initiation of the movement comes from the hips, and it helps you to roll up on that shoulder even ever so slightly, and then seeing if you can bring the other hand across. So working on your hip thrust, your quad strength, and a little bit of rotational strength here as well. One more time. Start with the hips, tuck and press, and roll up. And down. Beautiful. Again, find a little bit of movement here. Maybe you can take the hips in a circle. And the best. Beautiful. Lovely. Okay, so we're gonna bring our legs up into a 90 degrees, so my knees are stacked over my hips. I've got my hands on my thighs, so we're gonna start saying hello to these abs, getting them online. Some of you have done this with me before, maybe some of you have not. So what's happening here is, if I imagine pushing my thighs away from me, my hands, and then my thighs saying, no, 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 I'm pressing back in. So suddenly there's this opposition going on between my hand and my leg. So what that does, while we're still maintaining this flat back, so again, imagine pressing your lower back into the floor. If you find yourself with your legs up, that this is happening, you need to first find this flat back before you do anything else, okay? So if you're hanging out here, first find your knees over your hips and then press your lower back into the floor. Immediately, even just pressing that lower back into the floor, I feel that my core is starting to engage, okay? So this is first. Then working on this pressure, the opposing pressure between my hands and my thighs. And then if I've got this, maybe pressing so hard you're starting to shake, you're gonna lift your head up, look at your belly button, take a deep breath in, and then exhale, everything comes in. Yeah, so we're not splaying the belly out. Deep breath in, everything expands, we just did that. And then exhale, like you're trying to, sort of there's a black hole in the middle of your body and you're sucking everything in, yeah? On that pressure when you're trying to engage your low back, your abs. So we're gonna do 3 of these. So start to press, lift your head up, look at your belly button, deep breath in. Exhale, keep breathing for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bring the knees in, circle down. These are so killer, but they're so, so good for you. I can't tell you, like, until I've done these. There's different variations of them as well, but they completely changed how I use my core now. Just because there is that deep engagement, like you can feel that it's not like, oh yeah, no, I'll do a crunch up and then maybe my six pack is a little bit sore. Like this is happening deep in your like transverse abs, which is those abs that actually do the work, the actual work that we need, then you'll see on the pole, you know. When we talk about core strength, that's the core strength that we're building, yeah? So again, stand to press, lift the head up, inhale, exhale. 5, 4, you should be shaking. 3, 2, 1, bring it in. Beautiful, last one. Try to keep the tension out of your shoulders and your neck if you're really like trying to do this exercise well. Like tensing everything, but try not to tense the muscles that have very little to do with it. So we're really working the core, not much to do with your neck and shoulders, so try to keep them relaxed. Starting to press. Inhale, lift. Exhale, holding for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Oh my god. Hurts so bad. Hurts so good. Bring your legs up. Ankle roll here. Distract yourself from the pain. Shake it out. Beautiful. Alright, rock up. Come into your tabletop here, maybe moving a little bit further up the mat. We're gonna take some openness here, so I'm gonna glide my hand through the window for a twist and then open. Inhale through the window, exhale, open. Inhale, exhale, open. Take a wrist roll here. And come on down. Other side. Inhale through the window. Exhale, open. Inhale through. Exhale, open. One more. Stay lifted from the bottom shoulder. Roll on the wrist. Beautiful. Lovely. So we haven't done this in a while, depending on what class you're in. Might have done this with you before, not that long ago. But something really important is knowing how to engage your scapula, aka your shoulder blades. So on the pole, we do a lot of stuff that requires a lot of shoulder strength, and if you're unaware of how your shoulders should be moving and your shoulder blades, it's gonna make things quite tricky along the way. So these scapular push-ups can be done here on your knees. You could make them a little bit harder, sort of in your tabletop hover, or if you really want to challenge yourself, you're gonna come into a plank and then do your scapular push-ups there. Just to keep it nice, light and easy today, we're gonna stay on our knees, line up our hands underneath your shoulders, and then just learn this cue, and I really like it, so I'm gonna keep saying it. When I'm sinking towards the floor, closing my shoulder blades together, I'm imagining squeezing the blueberry between them, and then as I'm pushing the floor away, rising high, elevating, and separating the shoulder blades again. And then squeeze, and separate. Squeeze, and separate. Notice my elbows are not really moving, they're not bending, my arms are staying straight. Let's do 2 more. Keeping your chin tucked slightly. And 1. Beautiful. Let's come on back onto our heels. And we are gonna take a few baby arches here. If you got blocks and you prefer to work with blocks, please do that. I don't want you to feel strained or anything, but yeah, you can also use books, or if you don't have blocks around at the moment. But we're gonna start easy, and then you sort of feel if you wanna push yourself a little bit further. So from sitting on your heels, again, we're gonna work that tuck to stand up, and then nice and high off our knees, and then hold the tuck as you're rolling down, and release. Finding your own flow here, tuck and round, push up. Maybe you're letting your hands falling back slightly as you're still pressing your hips forward, and then round and sit back. One more time. Send the hips forward. Beautiful. With your hands, you're gonna make a little shelf right on your low back. If this feels good, you can start to push your hips a little bit more forward and taking a baby arch here. So here, hands come back. You can also sort of, if you don't like the shelf, you can sort of make C shape on the either side, and then support yourself here. You know, just know that you're in control of the bend. So if it feels too intense and you still want to give it a go, but you don't want to go as deep into it, think about, even if you are going deep into it, this applies across the whole spectrum. We work our core a little bit, and we do really want to make sure that our core is involved in this part of the exercise as well. So yes, my hips are pressing forward, but my core is still very much trying to support the low back and the pressure that goes into it if we do decide to do some sort of bending. So imagine that pressure, that black hole, everything's coming in. You're really starting to engage your core when you're starting to come into your baby bend. And then when you want to come up, still using your core to lift back up. So if you're really not up for this and you're just not feeling it, feel free to just go back and forth without even bringing your hands anywhere or extending your neck. So just here, and then feeling how you can support yourself with your core. If you are a little bit more advanced, feel free to press your hips forward, make that shelf, maintaining the core engagement while you breathe. Exhale, lift. Beautiful. Now we're gonna come down. Right hand comes to your right ankle or to your right calf. Oh, sorry. Let's start at the ankle. Let's tuck our toes for this as well. It'll just give us a little bit more height. So start with pressing the hips forward, and then you can be here, here, here for a side bend, but still staying nice and active. Coming through the middle, grabbing the other ankle, pressing the hips up first, and then following up with the hand. And lower down, and up, and down, hips first, push, and up. Beautiful. Untuck the toes, give it a shake. Lovely. So I just want us to finish up standing. If you do end up sort of getting into something more active, maybe you're doing this first thing in the morning, or you're doing your practice, or you've got a busy day ahead, I just wanted us to not finish on the floor for this reason. So we're gonna finish up in a nice wide goddess squat here, and we're gonna take a side tilt. I'm gonna actually switch my hands here, and then pressing the knees open, feeling the inner thigh stretch again, and exhale, switch, and switch, and switch. Beautiful. Put your hands down, up into a forward fold, swaying side to side, shake your head out. And then coming up, hands overhead, walk your feet together, inhale, exhale, and back up. So if you like this class, I reckon you should come back for more. There will be 10 classes in total, and if you do them all, which I will let you know the details of how you can let me know you've done them all a little bit later. if you do them all, then as an incentive for people staying fit and strong and staying part of the community, I've decided to do a little surprise at the end. So everybody gets a little surprise at the end. If there's someone that does more than 10 classes, meaning they come back to certain classes and they do them repeatedly, that is also an option, and there might be something a little bit more juicy. But yeah, a general idea is that you stay fit while I'm away, so then when I come back, it's not a massive surprise for you that things feel hot. It's a good way to keep things flowing and committing to something that might at first feel like not a big deal. It will actually, you'll find that at the end it does actually make a difference. So yeah, thanks for joining me, and I'll see you in the next one.